Prome AI is a powerful AI-driven design platform that enables users to create stunning AI art, images, graphics, videos, and animations. It offers a wide range of features including sketch rendering, image generation, video creation, and various editing tools. Prome AI caters to amateurs, architects, interior designers, providing an extensive controllable AI GC model style library to bring creativity to life. If this is your first time here, my name is JI and this is the Everyday AI channel where we teach you how you can use AI in your daily lives. I'd firstly like to start by thanking Prome AI for sponsoring this video. This is honestly quite an amazing platform and I can't wait to dive right into it. So first off, we're going to go into sketch rendering and we're going to see exactly how we can turn some simple and basic sketches into wildly imaginative images. As you can see, we've got a prompt box here on the left. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to upload an image of a sketch. Okay, cool. So as you can see, I've got this sketch here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a prompt that clearly describes this sketch and allows Prome AI to actually bring it to life with all the vibrant colors that I'm looking for. So I've added my prompt to the prompt box on the left. And as you can see, the prompt I've used is an image of a futuristic home in a lush green landscape surrounded by trees and flowers, with solar panels on the roof and large windows that reflect the sunlight, with a small pond in the front yard, adding a serene touch to the overall ambience, complete with a wooden deck for relaxation. Include an outdoor seating where people can enjoy the scenery, cinematic lighting, and wide angle. So the three things you always want to add in any image prompt is the lighting, the angle, and the dimensions. So I'll pretty much keep the dimensions the same in this case. And what I could actually do if I wanted to is I could also outpaint the image that comes out so that it's actually expanded in terms of the dimensions. And then I could put it in different social media platforms, let's say YouTube or Instagram. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure this creativity level is set to about 30. So the higher the creativity level, the more imaginative the generation is going to be. And the negative prompt is what you don't want to see. Now, personally, I think every single image generator should have a negative prompt box. And I love the fact that Prome AI has got this right here, because a lot of image generation models don't understand the concept of not having things in a particular image. It's difficult to give them that instruction in the same prompt box as the instructions that include what you do want to see in the image. So I'm really happy that Prome AI has got this negative image prompt here. So what I don't want to see is blurriness, I don't want to see deformities, and I don't want to see abnormal shapes. And then we've got the artistry parameter, which controls the level of artistic detail and complexity applied to the generated image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this at 50. With regards to the perspective, I'm going to keep it the same. I don't want to go too deeply into that. With regards to the lighting, I'm also going to keep that the same. I think these are great for sort of portraits. As you can see, those are the examples we've got here. But with regards to landscapes and architecture, I think I'm just going to leave it as it is. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the number of generations I want to create. I'm just going to create 2 for now, and then I'm going to click create. Okay, amazing. And now that's done and I'm really happy with this already. It only took about 10 seconds to create. I'm going to go into these images and see exactly what we can see. Okay, so as you can see, we've got a bit of a hallucination here because I think these solar panels look like they're inside. But on this second image, I'm really happy with this one. And of course, it's the nature of image generation to keep on generating images until you find the one you're most happy with or the one that you can work with. Now, what I'm going to do with this is I'm actually going to remix it. And if I want, what I can do is I can compare this with the original sketch. And as you can see, it's pretty close, if not completely identical to the original sketch that I had. I can decide to like this. If I want, I can download this straight away. I can download it in a few different formats. I can also decide to upscale it. So what I'll do here is I'll download it in HD. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upscale it here. I'm going to make sure I've got my prompt copied. And as you can see, Prome's already added it to the image section here. I can decide if I want to keep it natural or make it more animated, but I'm going to keep it natural for now. I'm going to make sure the level of creativity is kept to low, and then I'm going to click generate. Okay, cool. So once again, that only took a few seconds. And as you can see, the quality now is quite astounding. I'm really happy with this. And I think this is definitely something that you could then move on to, let's say, an image to video generation. Now, this image can be used if you're an architect, an interior designer, a product designer, and it can really just give your imaginations life. And it can also allow you to share what you're thinking with any potential clients or friends and family. Next, I'm going to check out Prome's image generation, and let's see what we got here. So firstly, we can see images that have been created by the community members, and we can also do some experimentation and some remixing of these images. What I'm going to do, however, is I'm going to create a new image, and what I'm going to create is a confident young man in a jungle who has discovered electricity for the first time. I want the lighting to be cinematically inspiring. I want the angle to be close up. And what I can do is I can actually enhance the prompt immediately. So I'll just click on enhance prompt and let's see what Prome gives us. Okay, cool. So it's saying a captivating portrait of a confident young man with his hair and accessories revealing a story set in an awe-inspiring jungle setting. The focus is sharp while his direct gaze and pose convey a sense of adventure, inviting viewers to consider his story. Now, I've got two versions for the image generation engine. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go on to version 2. I want the style to be conceptual art. And I'm going to click on... Wow, there's so many to choose from. What I'm going to say is I'm going to stick to the first one. But if you want, you can see all the styles they've got. They've got realistic, fantasy, daily, sci-fi. And yeah, you can also experiment with all the different styles they've got over here as well. So yeah, there's a lot of styles to choose from. And I think this is really what makes Prome AI such a powerful platform for any sort of visual creation. I'm going to stick to this realistic setting underneath conceptual art. With regards to the scene, it's going to be an outside scene because we're in the jungle, of course. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the scene to be landscape design. Let's go to rustic. I think that makes sense. With regards to the perspective, I want the perspective to be a from above view. So I'll keep that there. I want the ratio to be 16:9. And I want the lighting to be glowing. Cool. So now I've set all of those parameters. I'm going to click generate. I'm going to create 3 images for this here. Interesting. Okay. So as you can see, when I enhanced the prompt, it actually got rid of my section about discovering electricity. And it's just gone on and create these pictures. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add that back into my prompt and see what sort of difference we get. I'm going to say the young African man has just discovered electricity. I'm going to change this to his focus is sharp while his direct gaze and pose convey a sense of adventure, inviting viewers to consider his story. So I'll leave that there. I'm going to generate 3 more images with this. Okay, amazing stuff. I'd say only this generation in the middle looks like it's got an African character. With regards to image generation in general, and this goes for large language models really and truly across the board, it's always best to add the most important aspects of your generation to the start. So for example, I'm going to experiment with this and see exactly what the difference is if I put this section at the start of my prompt. So now my prompt is a young confident African man has just discovered electricity with his hair and accessories revealing a story set in an awe-inspiring jungle setting, and then I've left the rest of the prompt the same. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to change a few bits of the style. So instead of conceptual art, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this as documentary photography number 10. I want the scene to be urban zen. The perspective I think could be slightly wider. So I'm going to go for a long shot. I want to keep the ratio the same, and I'm going to change the lighting to bright neon lighting. I'm going to create 3 more images as well. So let's see what this gives us. Now these images really only take less than 10 seconds to create, which I think is really cool. And of course you can always upscale them once that you find one that you like. Okay, now this looks a whole lot better, as you can see. Now, of course, I can always upscale this whenever I want. Cool, so this looks really interesting. I quite like the setting here It's definitely kept to my prompt. As you can see, he's actually sat around a fire. So here we've actually got someone else in the image as well, which is quite interesting. But as you can see, these images are very impressive. And of course, whenever you find one that you do like, you can always upscale them. Now, I think this way of generating images is a whole lot better than a lot of other platforms, because what often happens is they may charge you just to generate an image, but some of the images will not be usable. And this is just how the game goes when you're generating images. So the fact that Prome AI allows you to generate low resolution images and then choose which ones you like in order to upscale them, I think is an amazing sort of flow, and it actually makes it a lot cheaper for the people generating images. And it also makes it much cheaper for the platform to provide this image generation service. So next, I'm going to explore consistency rendering, which is quite a popular request in the image and video generation scene when it comes to using AI. So with consistent rendering, you can of course easily create a series of images with consistency. Now, what I'm going to do here is, first of all, I'm going to select the model I want to use. I'm going to go with this modern villa. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the ratio as 16:9, and I'm going to click generate. Okay, cool. So we've got the first one here. This is looking pretty sweet. Nice. We've got the second one here. Now, let's say you were shooting a film with a bunch of buildings, or let's say you wanted to capture a massive architectural ecosystem with buildings that all had a similar sort of architecture, then yeah, this would be a great way to do it. So for example, this could be a home, this could be a school, this could be an office. So with consistency rendering, you can actually maintain a particular kind of aesthetic across different images. Now we're going to look at erase and replace, which is a great way to select an area that needs to be changed and actually modify that area in an image. I'm sure everyone can relate to having a picture taken and then you notice a little thing in the image that you really wish wasn't there and you wish you could just get rid of it. Well, thankfully now with Prome AI, that couldn't be simpler. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload one of my own images. Okay, great. So one of the first things it's going to do is it's going to perform an image analysis, which only takes a couple seconds. Now, this is an image I generated of myself in a music studio. Anyone who's been following me for a number of years knows I used to be a musical artist. And of course, music and creativity is precisely what led me to transformational technologies such as AI. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use this manual selection tool to actually select manually what I don't want. Now, if I don't want to do that, I can use one of these auto selection tools and I can select which parts I actually want replaced, removed, retouched, or recolored. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the guitars in the background and I'm going to try and remove them. So I'm going to click remove and I'm just going to create 2 images for this one and see how well it does. Okay, cool. So that took just under 10 seconds, but I think it's worked relatively well. We've got a bit of an outline here, but that's not anything that's, I think, too deformed. I think this still sort of works. I'm going to take a look at this other image as well. I mean, this one is not as great, but I think I'd stick with the first one because the first one still sort of looks like, okay, there were some guitars here in the past. As you can see, there are 3 here, so it just looks like I've taken the 3 that would have been here off their stands. So yeah, this is a really cool way to actually get rid of certain things in your image that you don't necessarily want. Now I'm going to check out the outpainting engine and see exactly how this works as an image resizer. I'm going to upload an image of myself again. In fact, let me go for this one. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to change the size of this canvas. I'm going to change it to 16:9. And I'm going to prompt it with what I've got in the image here. So I'm going to say a young African man looking directly, or actually standing in a futuristic warehouse and looking directly at the camera. I'm going to create 2 images with this. I can decide if I want the autofill to be on. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put it on and I'm going to click generate. Also, if you do want to generate things in fast mode, you can switch this on and it's just going to increase the number of credits required. Now, I'm really happy with this so far. This is looking really cool. Wow. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. So let's say I wanted to use this image in a format that was 16:9 instead of the original 1:1, then I could easily just expand it and outscale it with Prome AI. and outscale it with Prome AI and then use it in whichever platform I wanted to. Now I'm going to explore Prome AI's region rendering model and see exactly how we can use this creatively. Okay, cool. So what I can do is I can choose an initial image. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one. And as you can see, they've also provided me with a potential sketch that I can add. So all I need to do is upload the initial image that I want to add something to, upload the sketched image, and then just use the manual selection tool or the auto selection tool, whichever is easier, to select exactly which sketch I want or which part of the sketch I want in this original image. And then I can just go from there. So as you can see here, the prompt is just a wooden stool. If there's anything I don't necessarily want, I can put it here in the negative prompt, and then I can select which sort of mode I want. So structure, of course, preserves the structure and prioritizes that. There's also the precise mode, the outline mode, depth mode, and concept mode. Now, these are all pretty self-explanatory, and there are also short descriptions here that actually tell you when would be best to actually use each specific mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it on structure, and I want to generate 2 images, and I'm just going to click generate. Okay, amazing. And as you can see, we've got 2 different images here. Now, these look really cool. I like the fact that they still more or less fit the aesthetic of the original image. I think I'll go for this one. I like the darker tone of brown. This is really cool. And I think this is going to be really useful for anyone who wants to actually add or little bits of furniture or some items into an image that, let's say, they forgot about when they were initially capturing it or generating it. Now I'm going to check out Prome's image to video engine. Let's see how this goes. Cool. So as you can see, I can check out a few of the generations that have been made by the community so far. I'm going to check out this one. Let's see what this looks like. Wow, this is really cool. Nice. I can definitely see this being used as potential game footage or just social media content or even business media content. So now I'm going to generate a video from an image. I'm going to upload one of the images I've got so far. So let's go with this one. And what I want to say is a gray car driving from the right side of the screen towards the left. And you've also got the motion intensity slider here, which actually allows you to select how drastic you want the change in the image to be. So you want to make sure this isn't too high, because of course it can also result in some morphing, which is when things just change in a video and it doesn't really look that lifelike, because let's say something just appears or disappears. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this down a little bit. I'm going to take it down to 45, and then I'm going to click generate. Cool, so we've got the camera panning, but it doesn't seem like the car is moving. I can also look at the before and after like this. So I suppose this can be good to get you just a bit of a movement in a shot. Let's say you don't want to use some B-roll, but you want to use a video based off an image, then this is definitely a great way to get this sort of content and to create something very specific to be used in any sort of footage. Now let's check out some of Prome's workflows. So as you can see, there was sketch rendering earlier, but then there's also photo to sketch if you want to go the other way around. We're going to dive right into this and see exactly how we can use it. So let's say I want to use one of these pictures, or better still, let's go to one of these. I think this would be cool for anyone who's doing any kind of fashion. You can also select exactly how you want it to be sketched. There's so many options here. I think that's one of the best aspects of this platform, is that there's so many ways you can actually customize your outputs and your inputs. So definitely keep that in mind if you need a high level of customizability for whatever you're creating. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go with 15th century. In terms of mode, I'm going to stick with precise, negative prompt. What I don't want is blurs and, let's say, deformities. I'm going to stick to 2 images and I'm going to click generate. Okay, cool. So we've got this first one here. Nice. That looks pretty retro, quite old school. So we've got these 2 pictures here. This first one looks pretty cool. I like the way this one is drawn. I like this one as well. I think the tone is a bit brighter here on this one. This one's quite warm. So yeah, this is a great way to go from an image to a sketch. Okay, and in these workflows, we've also got image variation. Let's check this out. I'm going to go with this picture. This picture. and let's see how we can remix this. I'm going to leave the variation at around 40 because I want it to be more or less the same. And I'm going to generate 3 images. I'm just going to click generate here. Nice. Okay, this looks pretty fresh. These have sort of turned into corner sofas. If you want to preserve the structure and I guess the shape of whatever image you're actually remixing, then you want to make sure the variation is set as low as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the variation just to show you, and then I'm going to click generate again. Okay, great. And as you can see, this time it's slightly more similar to the original image. In the first set of image generations, this painting changed shape, as you can see. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to increase the variation and just see what difference this makes. I'm going to generate 3 more images. Okay, cool. So as you can see, now we've got like a corner sofa, which is very different to the initial image. Of course, I've just used one of the first images that was suggested, but you can upload your own image or create one using Prome and then bring it into this section. And of course, you can be a bit more extensive with your prompt as well. Next, we're going to check out the Creative Fusion workflow. Sweet. Okay, so let's check this out. I want to remix this image here. You can select which kind of style you want. So if I wanted to change the style of an image into the style of another image, I can select an image here in the style section just to use as a reference purely for the style. So let's say I wanted to change this initial image into something a bit more green. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to create 3 images. Okay, cool. Wow, yeah, as you can see, the aesthetic has changed. This is looking quite interesting. Remember, of course, you can always upscale these images whenever you want. And the fact that they're generated in low res means the coins that you use can be cheaper and you can save the upscaling for images you actually want to use in your creations. Next up, we're going to go into the AI architecture generator and see what we can create from here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write a brutalist building that has a lake in front of it, as well as a gym, let's say an outdoor gym, an indoor spa, and let's say 5 stories of flats, a residence building. Now, what I've done is I've actually selected both the building and the residence building. I'm going to deselect that and just select the villa. Now, this is going to combine both of these styles. The perspective, I want it to be a wide angle shot. In the negative prompt, I want to, let's say, add cracks. So the negative prompt, once again, is things you don't want. Right now, it's really important to remember that image generation models struggle with not adding things into an image if the prompt is provided all in one go, hence why the need for a prompt section and then a negative prompt section. So here I'm going to put cracks, stains, and let's say graffiti. The ratio I want to be 16:9, and I'm just going to generate 2 images here. Wow, amazing stuff. Yeah, this looks really cool. Nice. Yeah, this looks really cool. I was going for something that resembled the Barbican in London, and this yeah, definitely has a similar aesthetic. Next, we're going to look at the scenario changer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to upload one of my pictures. Cool. So now that's uploaded, I'm going to add a prompt. Let's say snowy weather. I'm going to go with what was there as an example, and I want this to be quite intense. So let's go with winter and keep that as a style. And as you can see, you've also got different kind of weathers and different kind of times of the day that you can use. I want the style intensity to be pretty intense. And of course, I don't want any deformities. I think that's one thing you can always add in your negative prompt. And I'm just going to generate 2 images and click generate. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Okay, well, I guess it's sort of kept my kind of facial structure. It's also given me a beard, which is interesting. So as you can see, this is a great way to change the season or the weather or the time of day of any image instantly. This one's also quite interesting. I've got a snowflake just falling down on my forehead. Cool. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the exterior renovator and let's see what we get here. I'm going to click one of these. I'm going to remix it. Let's go with this reference image once again. So this is the original image that you can see here, which doesn't look too great. Looks like this place needs some development. And what I'm going to do is I've already selected the reference image, but this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the scene as well. I'm going to go for masterpiece, and I'm going to select this curvilinear modernism. As you can see here at the bottom, I can see the sort of filters I've selected. So I've got building, mid-century modern, and curvilinear modernism. I'm going to get rid of this building filter. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the precision concept. It was already on that, so I'm going to leave it there. You've also got the ability to go onto the structure. And with the negative prompt, of course, I'll just put deformities. The artistry, I'm going to leave it around 60. I want the lighting to be silhouetted against the bright window. And then I'm going to generate 2 images. Okay, great. And as you can see, this has done quite a great job. If we want, we can always upscale this using Prome as well. Quite like this one too. This one's pretty cool. This house is a bit curved. I guess that's the curvilinear modernism. Now I'm going to check out the interior remodel. I'm going to get one of these spaces. Cool. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to select one of these interiors. I'm going to leave the prompt blank because I just want to change what it looks like in terms of the walls and the floors. But if you want, you can always prompt it here as well. In terms of the scene, I'm going to go with a bedroom. And you can also switch on this renovation toggle, which allows you to actually renovate the floors and the walls, which is exactly what I want to do. In the negative prompt section, I'm going to add deformities and cracks and stains. I want to generate just 2 pictures. And there we go. A nice new sleek sort of interior that we can use to show proof of concept to people or just start visualizing your dream home. Yeah, this looks pretty cool. Remember, once again, you can always upscale within Prome as well once you find that you've generated an image you really want to use or show to others. Next, I'm going to try out this panorama generator. I'm going to click on this. So what you can do is you can describe what you want here on the left, and you can also describe what you want here on the right. So on the left, I'm going to say sleek, modern kitchen. I'm going to get Prome to help me enhance that prompt. Nice, that looks pretty cool. A kitchen with stainless steel appliances, a red gloss table. There we go. That looks a lot more detailed, but I don't want it to be too detailed, so I'm just going to delete some of this as well. And here on the right, I'm going to say a very stylish ensuite. Then I'm going to click generate. So now we've got this view, which we can use to actually see the whole panoramic view. Okay, cool. That's quite interesting. There's a bit of a section of a bathtub here, which is quite interesting. But yeah, I think this is a really great way to, I guess, create 3D environments in a nice panoramic view, just for someone to be able to look around using a platform that isn't just completely still. So they can actually look at things like the chandeliers, the floorings, and seeing exactly what an interior space is filled with. Next, I'm going to go into the AI background generator. Now, the background for this, I'm going to say should be on top of a mountain with thunder in the background. I'm going to enhance this prompt a bit. Okay, cool. So now we've got a much more enhanced prompt. In terms of style, I'm going to go with portraits. Let's say this, something outdoors. Ratio, I want to be 16:9. Reference image, I'll leave out the reference image for now. And in terms of precision, I'm gonna dial this up to about 65. You can also decide to enable auto fit, which will adjust the image's size and position for the best results. I'm gonna do that in this case, and I'm also gonna generate just 2 images. Wow, these look pretty cool. And of course, if you want, you could always upload these into Prome's image to video generator and get a nice sort of moving visual to go along with this as part of a video for a promotional advert. Okay, and lastly, I'm gonna check out this AI supermodel engine. Sweet, okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to upload an image of myself. I'm gonna go with this one. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the background. So I'm going to say on top of the tallest mountain in the world. Cool. And as you can see, you can select the model. I'm going to select male. I'm gonna change the hair type to, let's say, African American. What I'm gonna do is I'm also gonna change the background so it's outdoors. I wrote a mountain in my prompt, so I want to go for somewhere that's outdoors. Let me go for this flower track. I'm going to generate 2 images. I've also left this precise toggle on, which helps maintain the outline whilst reducing the background's richness. So as you can see, it's created a new model, but the model still has the same aspects as the initial image. So the guy's still got the glasses, he's still got this little chain here. And as you can see, the background does look like a flower trek that's outdoors with some mountains in the back. So that concludes my walkthrough of Prome AI. Of course, there are still so many other engines and so many other things you can do with this platform. So I definitely recommend exploring. It seems like they're updating quite frequently as well. And yeah, you're definitely gonna have a whole lot of engines to play with on this platform. I'd like to say a final thank you to Prome AI for sponsoring this video. And if you'd like to start using this platform, then make sure you use my referral link in the description below and have fun creating. I honestly think this is one of the best platforms for AI creation at the moment. And I know because I've literally been through hundreds of platforms at this point for image generation and for video generation, and also just for image editing and video editing. And I have to say, this definitely provides an all-in-one solution for anyone who constantly has to create digital assets in order to stay relevant in their niche or their industry, and that could be for their business, their company, their startup, or even their personal brand. So I'll definitely be using this myself, and I can't wait to see what creations you come up with. If you've got any ideas that you can't wait to share, then make sure you drop them in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like to talk to me, then head over to Jay's Instagram, where you can chat to ChatJPT, which is essentially ChatGPT combined with my way of thinking, speaking, and seeing the world. So if you like these videos, then you'll definitely enjoy having a chat with ChatJPT. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great day.